So I would bring in extras.
Because we're sugar peddlers. So
yes, we are. You're gonna listen. And what's your hooks? And hey, listen, you're here
like,
forever.
We're not 2:00 brownie.
Yes, absolutely. And so I would bring.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a while.
They don't know that though in TV world.
Oh, there we go. So I guess I won't say it.
Well, no, you can say it. We are real in real life.
I'm taking my shoes off. I think I got clean socks.
That's okay. I won't judge people.
You might be like,
oh,
you was talking about my breath on camera.
That's different. And somehow that's different. Okay, so we are back. Hello, everyone. We are back with some good stuff. We are going to jump right in because it's been a little while since we've been able to record. But hey, girl, hey, boy, hey. Yes.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. So, mind your business. You know, I think that I was thinking about mind your business the wrong way.
Okay.
And so I was really struggling to come up with the mind your business. Then I was like, no, I'm minding my business.
Yes.
My business.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I came up with some good mind your business. And so
I'm ready for
the first mind your business, lately in conversation with other bakers, and you and I had a conversation about this too this week or last week, but corporate orders and corporate clients. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to talk to everyone today about obtaining or creating those relationships with corporations to create a new stream or a new, product opportunity for bakery businesses.
Absolutely. I mean, because I have corporate clients too, and I love that last week your corporate client.
Yes. So listen, and this is not the first time that's happened to me.
Yeah.
This is probably maybe the third or fourth time that I'll be creating for a corporate event, and find out that a friend is gonna either be there or is also a part.
Yeah.
It's always a fun thing for me. Like, it's so fun because Cleveland's really small.
Cleveland is really small. And so the night before that event, I was like, oh, I gotta get ready to go to this graduation. And you were like, for what? KeyBank? I'm like, how you know?
Are you watching? Yeah, I'm watching it. I was creating cookies and pedophores. For this graduate. Yes, you did. I was like, well, she gonna get some good content for me. Yes, she did. But yeah, so I was so excited. So anytime a corporate client or a corporate gourmet, I call my customers my gourmets, reach out, I do a really, really happy dance. And it's not to say that one gourmet is more important to me than the other gourmet, but when you do corporate ordering and you do a good job, or corporate orders, that relationship can go a really long way. A lot of times corporations have a good budget that they need to spend by the end of the year. And so there are certain points of the year that you can kind of expect to kind of receive.
What time of the year is a good time of the year?
So Christmas is an amazing time of the year. The
easy.
Holidays.
That's easy.
Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yeah. Mother's Day, any holiday, honestly, because they want to do nice things for their their employees.
Yeah.
And so they'll think of, depending on who's in charge, they'll think of cute ways to kind of show their appreciation. That's
interesting because I always wonder, because I feel like my corporate clients are at the end of the year, and then we're in Q2, and I've had 2 corporate clients already this year. So I was kind of like, I need to lean into this and then work on my website too a little bit more so that they have like that corporate to go there and really understand.
Make it so plain.
Yeah.
And I think that was, so for me, a lot of my corporate clients came from relationships.
Yes.
One of my first corporate clients came from my actual job. And so the first thing I tell people who are interested in getting corporate orders is if you are a worker and you have a traditional 9-to-5 job, does your job know about your business? And if you're comfortable with crossing those lines, who there can you have that conversation with to kind of show what you can do, in what moment.
Yeah. Did you leave it in the break room, or how did you introduce your?
So exactly, there we go. So I would bring in extras.
Because we're sugar peddlers. So
yes, we are. You're gonna listen, and what's your hook today? Listen, you're here forever.
We're my 2:00 brownie.
Yes, absolutely. And so I would bring extras and just leave them, or I would share them strategically with, of course, my work friends, but of course, you make sure certain people get a taste. So that they know, right? And then I know one time, you have potlucks. You have opportunities where people are supposed to bring things. And at this point in my life, I don't even know what food to bring when I'm asked to bring regular food, because I don't bring regular food. I bring sweets. And so, of course, I'm going to bring... Right. Of course, I'm going to bring what I'm making and what I'm known for. And so people know. And then you get clients. You get, the birthdays on my daughter's birthday or my son's graduation. But you also kind of catch the eye. But it's really important to not just have this product and say, oh, I have, X, Y, and Z. It matters how you present yourself. Because one is one thing.
Yourself, how you present yourself.
And
not just the product.
Everything.
Okay.
From the rooter to the tutter.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny you say that, because your for the event that you just did, your name wasn't as prominent. You kind of had it pushed back.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Is that Gourmet Girl?"
Because at this point they know.
Yeah.
This point I've created such a
iconic
style. Thank you.
Iconic style.
Thank you so much. But I've created, people know what to expect from me. They know that I don't do things half anything.
Even your fresh flowers. I love that.
Oh, yes.
You always have fresh. I was about to steal a rose and everything.
That's okay, because most of the time they get thrown away. So I want people to say.
Yeah.
If I go back and pick up, I usually will put them in a vase when I get home, to be honest. But yeah, so having those signature things, having the signature items, something that I think a lot of bakers don't think about is, how do you create a product that is a signature item, but that's super shareable?
Shareable, like Instagram shareable, or
that too, but more so, how do you? Everything shouldn't necessarily be a cupcake.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sing your praises, because I really do. I really do love the way that it's put together. It almost looks like a whole cake, and then you can start taking it apart. But it's definitely what you created. It's very much it is shareable.
Yes.
And it is and it was almost like everybody was talking around it, and it's like, did you move out the way? Move.
Yeah, and so it doesn't have to be, I'm really big in this industry on creating something that you are known for, that's so you, that people can, when they see it, they know it's you. Yeah. But something that is not in the corporate space, something that's not too big to where it's going to be waste. Yes. Something that can easily be grabbed and enjoyed, and something that's not complicated.
So how long have you had corporate clients?
So I've had corporate clients, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of who my first, my first I guess would be, some of my first were PepsiCo, of course my job, which was YOU, or Youth Opportunities Unlimited. And
I asked that because coming out the gate, were you as composed in your setup for your first corporate client? So
yes and no.
Okay.
So the yes being that I had already established in my mind that I knew that I wanted to, whatever kind of setup, corporate or personal, that I wanted my tables to look a certain way. Okay. It's always been really important to me when I drop a cake off, even if you have other things, and some people disagree with me on this, but even if you have other desserts, I'm not going to just drop my stuff and leave. I'm going to put it together and make it look nice, because I have to take a picture. And then also, if there are mixed desserts, I don't want people to think that
ain't mine.
You know what I mean? I don't want them to be like, oh, those things, even though I didn't make them.
No,
and yeah, so I want it to be put together it looks cohesive.
I get it.
But so that's always been important to me. But so I feel like I'm moving over. I gotta get my train of thought. What was your question?
So my question was like you weren't as polished in the beginning, so I'm really like, how did you
polished in that way?
Okay,
but how did you presentation overall
to the point where someone walks in the room and they're like, "Oh, gourmet girl."
Well, for corporations, that polished came from me recognizing that 2 and 2, 1 and 1 is not always 2 if you don't know to add it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I know that's weird to say that way.
Interesting.
So you really do have to be really plain about what you have and what your ask is. Mm-hmm. And so the individuals, gourmets, knew what I had, but the corporations didn't necessarily put, oh, she has this thing and we need this too. That makes sense?
Okay.
Like,
yeah, no, it makes
so
sense.
one of the big game changers for me was making a dedicated ask or category on my website that says, this is, if you are a corporation, go here. If you're an individual looking for a celebration cake, go here. If you're a wedding, go here. And making that distinction, because not everybody will put those pieces together to say, oh, I need Gourmet Girl to make me some cupcakes or pedophores, maybe some shooter cups, cake shooters in this setting.
No, that's really good. That's really good because, like I said, like I haven't really built out the corporate piece of mine, and I find that I spend more time explaining what I do, and and then I don't get the order. But when I just have like a photo, like, hey, here's the box that you can get, and XYZ is in the box, I get the order
absolutely.
like that.
Because then they don't want to have to do the work.
Right.
And it's not to say like they don't care, because they do care, but they have all these other things to do. And they really want to come to someone and think of it as catering.
Yes.
If you're going to a caterer, you kind of just want them to hook you up, have you this package. You don't want to have
how many people to serve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. The same thought. Yes. And so having a dedicated catering menu for corporate orders
That's really good.
Is really kind of what pivoted me into a no thought order.
That's really good, no, because I'm reflecting back to like my last corporate order that I didn't get. I put everything out and took a picture and just made it a la carte, and I didn't get that order.
It's harder a la carte, and I do a la carte, but I categorize it, and I tell them these are the rules, because then when I did it so loose, I would get so many questions to be like, well, can I do 3 of these? And can I do 1 of these? And it wouldn't really make sense for even them, but they didn't know that. A lot of people really don't know. They don't know your world and what it takes to create the brownie and how many brownies you get from that one recipe. And you know what I mean? Or create the individual whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's important to guide their hand. Make it very clear on what they're getting, how they're getting it, the count, the ingredients, all of the things up front, and very simple. And I know it's a lot of information to give, but try your best to simplify it so that it's not, they don't feel like they have to do math.
Now how do you avoid the discount ask?
I don't get discount ask.
Really?
No, I don't. And
but do you have different price points?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so that may be why
I do.
You don't get the discount.
I don't get the discount. And I think it's that reason, and also because I've worked really, really hard on establishing myself as a luxury baker. Even though I know that, people will come to me with various budgets, whatever, as long as you meet my minimum, I want you to feel like no matter how much you spent, you have that luxury experience.
Champagne experience on a potato chip budget.
Nah, maybe not potato chip. Maybe
well, caviar on a potato chip budget. Yeah.
I don't know about the potato chips. But there are ways to save, and I know them intimately because I understand my cost structure. And so one thing that weeds people out or gets the conversation to shift from a discount to what can I get is being very upfront with what your minimum is. And not just saying what your minimum cost is, but equating that. On my inquiry sheet, I say, this is what my minimum order is, and this will get you this, and this many servings.
Hold on a second.
Because I was saying just good. Minimum, and people were coming to me and be like, okay, well, your minimum's $350. I'm about to get this massive wedding cake, and that's not what you're getting for $350.
So you do a dollar amount minimum.
Yes. So, and then I have, on the corporate side, I do have count minimums. minimums.
Okay.
So you can't come to me and order one tray of Pedophore. You have to get 2 because that's a recipe.
Okay.
And so
I think that's so smart too. I started doing that with the marshmallows.
Yeah.
Like, how many marshmallows do I get out of one recipe, and then just sell that whole thing.
Absolutely.
You know, so I really do like that, having like the minimums and having that on your corporate page. But now, so you started like with your job, but what if you are branching out and you don't, like, who is the person in the organization to find to sell to? So
before we even get to that point, who do you know? So
who do you know in the corporation altogether?
Not even the corporation. Who do you know? Like, who are you friends with? Who do you go to church with? Who do you know? And who do you know who knows who? Because it didn't necessarily, for me, go, I want, and I have done this later on, but in the beginning, I didn't necessarily say, oh, I want to work with PepsiCo, or I want to work with KeyBank. It was, sometimes it wouldn't even be, I want to work with this organization, because I know them. They would reach out to me because I've made it very plain what I have to offer and why it's great, what it looks like. And you have this menu that's on my website. You don't even have to ask me. You can look and see what the cost structure is, so you know if you can afford it or not. But it's who you know. And so even if they don't reach out necessarily first, you can say, okay, my sorority sister works for CVS, corporate side, or my sorority or my, college friend works for and ask them, hey, are you a point person? I would love to work with the organization. Who can I give something to? Are you that person, or can you connect me to whoever's on the inside that does that? Or you can do the flip side way and say, okay, I would love to work with the Cavs. Or I would love to work with the Guardians, and I've done this. And say, who do I know? How can they connect me to who I need to know? And then how can I get them something for free? And not just showing up with items. You really do need those pieces that I talked about before. Like, you have to do the groundwork before you can really show up and be trusted. Of having a cohesive brand, having a consistent presence on socials, having, when you do show up, looking a certain way. I get this from my planners a lot, and I know we're getting kind of deep into this, and I want to bring it around and finish it. But I had a comment from one of my beloved planners, and she said to me, you're one of the very few vendors that when you show up for not just weddings, but any event we're doing together, you show up head to toe very well put together. But it's a lot of work. Think about me doing a whole 5, 10 to 8 tier wedding cake, and I have to be cute. It's a lot of work and planning that goes into that. I have to make sure my hair is cute, but put back so I don't get hair and stuff. Because I'm dealing with food. I have to make sure my makeup is nice. I have to make sure that I represent my brand. And my brand is luxury. Maybe, your brand is a little more rustic. And so that doesn't necessarily mean put on a whole little princess dress, or a tea party dress with the hat and the gloves, because I've done that too. But whatever that means to reflect your brand in the best way, and blending in when you get there is the most important part.
Blending in is really important.
Because I see people not blending, and you never know. When you go to set up, you don't know what's going to necessarily not go right, not because of you. Your timeline might be off, and people see you, not because of something you did, but maybe something happens. And so now you're not able to get in, set up, and sneak out. You're there with people. And if you're not dressed appropriately, little things like that stand out to people, or stand out to buyers.
And can I just tell you too, like, when we're in those situations and setting up, sometimes it's real stressful.
It is.
And you don't want people talking to you.
No, you don't.
But people
want to talk to you.
And you have to just smile.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
And I've gotten amazing contacts and experiences.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I was stressed out.
Yes.
And in my mind, I'm like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Don't you see me putting this together? But I was just like,
you have to be the persona.
And I just put it on, and then I did not know at the end why this person was asking me these questions, and then I got business from that person.
All the time.
They were interviewing me.
All the time. Every time. I won't say all the time. Every time.
Yeah, every time. Because I've seen people who are just like, I'm busy right now. Like,
no, you can't.
You never get that from me.
You cannot.
I will give you 100% every single time. Every single time. But so, do you think? So you were talking about and give stuff for free.
Yeah.
So like when you give stuff for free, what's that experience like?
So giving stuff for free does have to. It can be sometimes. Sometimes it just happens and it flows. But a lot of times your giving stuff for free needs to be calculated. It needs to be totally planned because we're dealing with perishable products.
Yes.
That have a shelf life and have a freshness to it, not freshness, right? And so it can look like you deciding to stop by. I have a dozen extra cupcakes. This is just random. I'm going to stop by my police department. And I'm going to say to them, I'm going to walk in and I'm not going to do any upfront work other than the cupcakes. Hey, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Here's these cupcakes. Here's my card.
Mm-hmm.
They have a gala.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Firefighters, all the,
sure.
our workers, our public safety officials. I don't know. I'm naming them wrong. Y'all know what I mean. Our first responders.
Yes.
But yeah, so them. Something as simple as in your neighborhood.
What was your most stressful free drop off? And I'm asking because I got some.
I don't have a stressful free drop off story. What's yours?
So I won't say the organization. I mean, it wasn't stressful or not positive. It's just I'm just gonna respect my clients and not say the organization.
Good job. I hate it when people do that on the internet. That's another mind your business.
And so that leads me to another thing. Like when you have that client, like can I put their logo out there? Can I say like who I work for? But sometimes it gets so personalized that when I put it out there, who the client is. Anyway.
Yeah.
So this particular client wanted a custom box. So I can do a custom box for you if you order 100 or more.
Ooh.
And so you can get your logo on it and everything.
That's a good number.
It really is.
Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So I wasn't gonna buy one custom box because that would cost me like about $50 or whatever. So I had to like print out graphics and glue stuff all over the box and everything and make this a custom box. And it was winter time.
Okay.
And it was snowing.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And I had to drive all the way to Berea to drop this box off. Yeah. And if you know me, I don't like driving in the snow. She does not drive in the snow. I don't drive on the highway. And but that check was worth everything.
Yes, it was. And that's another thing. So why do you want a corporate client? Those checks, they have the ability to buy a lot.
Yes, without discount.
And that lump sum that you receive is phenomenal.
It is.
It's a lot of work because you're doing a lot of things. You're doing a mass production, right? Yeah. But it's so worth it. And then it's not just the one time necessarily.
Correct.
You potentially have an ongoing relationship, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
And that one check was a game changer for me because it allowed me to like hire someone and see like what does it take to hire someone and how do I grow the business by like hiring these additional people. And I mean, for that particular one, I had to hire 5 people. Okay. But I didn't keep all 5 of them, but it took 5 people, 6 of us to actually to make that happen for sure. But so the only time that like I really had a discount was I gave it away at cost. Okay. But she said, I will get you clients. So she didn't have the budget. Okay. And so it was really like a long shot, right?
Okay. And I've done that. I take that. Yeah, I've done that. But
that was my year. I had more corporate clients than I ever had because she was true to it. And I think that's one thing too. So for me, my corporate clients, oddly enough, come off of Etsy. So I'm on LinkedIn and I go really hard on LinkedIn, but my corporate clients,
Etsy,
that administrative assistant or executive assistant, they are on Etsy and they find me because I do have like a corporate a corporate gift box on Etsy. And so I don't know if they're like searching corporate gifts and then they find me and then I get the clients from Etsy for sure. So that's one thing. And I think and one thing that I haven't done that I know is is essential is like just having those extras and then doing those drop-offs. Yeah, like, here are the 10 places I'm going today, and I'm just going to drop off. I'm going to go on LinkedIn, find that admin, find the executive assistant, and then looking for that title and just start dropping it off to those people.
And sometimes you don't even have to know those people.
No, you don't.
You can go to the door. Yeah. So let's use CMHA.
Okay.
Go to CMHA. Go down there.
Yeah.
You know where they at. Go in there, say hello to the receptionist, introduce yourself. Say, hey, I have something so sweet and amazing that I would love to share with your staff. And if you could, make sure that whoever is in charge of, events gets some of this. Sometimes you have to just trust that they'll do the right thing. Sometimes, you may not hear back. And maybe it's an ongoing, hey, let me come back and try it again. For sure. But if they sit it in the break room, and even if the person who does not order doesn't get it, there are going to be maybe X amount of people that do get it that talk about it and say, oh my God, did you get that brownie? Or did you get that marshmallow? Did you get that graham cracker? Have you ever had it? Oh my God, who made this? Yeah. And then it's a buzz in the office because
absolutely.
What do we do at work when we're in the office?
Chat.
We talk. We chit-chat, and I know people have dropped food when I, worked in, the office. And I'm on it. I want to follow them. Yeah. Where's their card? Where is HR? Hey, Miss Lady, can you make sure we get some more of this when it's time? So those kind of things, and just those are those people work in corporations. Yeah. Don't overthink it, because at the end of the day, a corporation is made up of a lot of people. A lot of people you already know. So just go for it if that's something that you want to do. But make sure you're professional. Make sure you show up and be ready. Don't say you want it and you're not prepared for when you get that first call or email. Make sure that you, as soon as you get that email, you can send across a specified menu, a order process. Hey, this is what I have and this is what I, need you to do. So those things are really important, so that you give that professional readiness.
This was a really good mind your business. That's really good.
Okay, I'm glad. Because I was a little nervous.
No, this is a really good one.
It was conversational that I've had, recently. But
I think people think it's tough to get a corporate client, but it's not really. It's not. And I was saying to you earlier, I was like, but it's not that simple. But it is simple, but it's all the steps that you have to take and the follow-up that comes with it too. Yeah. And just all those steps. Because I had another one that wanted, marshmallows, and I was not going to just give them a sample box of marshmallows. I brought the whole kit. Here's like the roasting station, skewers, and everything.
Let me wow you. Yeah. Because first impressions, right?
Absolutely. And even the bag that I brought it in has marshmallows on it. Like, it's just
and then that stands out forever.
It does. It does.
Forever, when they want a marshmallow, they're gonna be like, ooh, do y'all remember those marshmallows? And she came in here and she had that marshmallow bag and the little roasty things to roast them and make them delicious and toasty.
Now I gotta go home and work on my corporate page. I gotta get it together.
That's okay. I'll help you.
Thank you.
I'll help you. Okay, so that's Mind Your Business.